Chulin Daf Lamed Ches. We're starting Lamzanim with Beis on the bottom. Says the Gemara, 2 lines from the bottom. Ashkechinu Shmuel Talmidei de Rav. Shmuel found the disciples of Rav. Amarlu Mayam Rav Misukenes. What did Rav say regarding Misukenes? Tell me something that he had to say regarding an animal that's dying. Amarle, they told him back. Hachi Amar Rav, this is what Rav said. Goya v'hetila rei. If it screams and makes a noise, or it defecates, v'kisksa be'ozna, and then or flaps with its ear, harei pirkus. That's called pirkus. And if after you slaughter it, it spasms in this way that it screams or defecates or moves its ear, then it's considered kosher. Amar lehu, he tells them, it's trichale la'aba did Abba, meaning referring to Rav. He required la'azuzei uni that the ear moves. I myself, Shmuel saying, I myself, I don't even need that. She'ani oimer, that I say, kol she'ena dvarim shamisa oise, as long as the animal moves in any way that is not just death, that is not just the life of the animal leaving, then it's considered pirkus. Ma'ninhu, what are these things? Ma'ninhu dvarim shamisa oise. Amar anon ledidim efashel minei demar Shmuel. I heard it from Shmuel. Oise yoda kfufo pashto. If its hand was bent and then it just stretched it out, that is davar shamisa oisa. That's something that that is just the animal dying. It doesn't show that you really slaughtered it, and it doesn't show that it had any life to it before you slaughtered it. Pshuta v'kaffa. However, if the hand of the animal was bent, was outstretched, and then kafafan, then it bent it after the shechita, that's dvarim she'ena mitzvah. So that's not a natural thing. Meaning, if the animal dies on its own, then it won't do that naturally. And the only reason why you did it is because you shechted it and you were the one who killed it, and therefore it's fine. My kamashmalan, says the Gemara, what did Shmuel teach me? Tanina, we have this in the Bryce, in the Mishnah. Our Mishnah said, didn't bend it back, and then it's psula she'eneh lo yitzas nefesh, because that's just the regular way for an animal to die on its own. However, if it did bring it back, if the animal did outstretch it and then bring it back, kshera, says the Gemara, no. Even if from the Mishnah of I would say, dafka de kaifa upashto v'hadar kaifa. Maybe the only time it's kosher is if it bends it, then outstretches it, and then brings it back. Aval pshuta v'kafefasa. But if it is just outstretched and then it bends it, light, I would think that's not enough. It needs to go back, forth, and back. Kamash Malan, Shmuel, that no, either all you need in order for it to be considered a pirkus is if it's outstretched and then it bends it. The only time the Mishnah says it's not okay is just if it's bent and then it just stretches it out. But really, you do not need it to be it's a stretch out, to bend and stretch and then rebend. Okay. Meisive asks the Gemara on Rav, Rabbi Yossi Oimer Hoyer of Meir Oimer. Rav Meir used to say, Goya b'shas shchita, if it screamed at the time of shchita, ain't a pirkus, it's not a pirkus. Rabbi Yossi Oimer, Rabbi Lazar says, Mishmoi, in Rav Meir's name, Afilu Tilarei, even if it defecated, and shook its tail, ain't a pirkus, it's also not a pirkus. So we have two questions. First of all, Kasha Goa Goa. We have a question. Rav is contradicting the Bryce in terms of whether screaming is if the animal makes a noise, whether it's considered pirkus. And Kasha Rei Arei also if it defecates. Rav says it is, and the Bryce says it's not. It says Goa Goa like Kasha Hada Avikola Hada Amikola. If it's a thick voice, then it's considered pirkus. But the Amikola, if it's just a thin groan, so then it does not constitute pirkus because you don't need so much energy for that. So maybe the animal is just dying. Rei nami lekashia. Regarding defecation, kind of sheiseses, kind of matrezes. If it just leaks out, so then again you don't see any life force. But if it's matrezes, which means that it comes out with force, and sprays far, so then the defecation does show that the animal does have energy and life to it, and you're the one who killed it. Amar Rav Chisda, says Rav Chisda, Pirkus she'amru b'soiv shchita. The pirkus that we discussed is it's required at the end of shchita. My b'soiv shchita. What do I mean when I say at the end of shchita? I mean be'emtza shchita. I mean, really, you only need it at the end of shchita. Lafuk yitchila shchita. Meaning, at the beginning of shchita, it's not enough. If it's mefarkes in the beginning of shchita, it's not enough because that's just a result of you cutting it. But it has to show life, show the throes of death because of the life, the energy of life that it had within it. That has to be shown at the end of shchita. If it shows it at the end of shchita, and you do not need it to show at the end of shchita. All you need is to show in the middle of the shchita. Amar Rav Chisda, how do I know this? It's not because it says in our mission, Behemadaka shepashta yada leyichzira psula. A behemadaka, a thin animal, shepashta yada, that outstretched its arm and then did not bend it. Psula. We said it's puzzle. Says Rav Chisda. Emas, when is it puzzle if it didn't rebend its arm? If you're saying, if it's at the end of shchita, it has to bend at the end of shchita. Kol hechi tichi v'tezil. So far it has to live. It has to live so far. Ella, all the way to the end of shchita. Why do you require at the end of shchita pirkus? Ella, the end of shchita must be removed in the middle of shchita, and all you need is it to be mefarkes in the middle of shchita. You don't need it at the end. Amalei Rava says Rava la'olam b'soif shchita. Maybe no, you have to actually show it b'soif shchita shani omer, because I would say kol she'eina oisek and b'soif shchita. If it does not do it at the end of shchita, v'yadua shenishmas netula. Heimena, you know that the neshama, the life, was taken away from it before this. So Rav is saying that no, the reason why we do require pirkus at the end of shchita is because otherwise we would say that if it does not show even after the shchita, at the end of the shchita, if it doesn't show any signs of thrashing, of spasms, then we'd say that maybe the life left it even before the shchita. Reb Nachman by Yitzchak Amar. Nachman by Yitzchak says Pirkus Shavu b'tchila shchita. He says no, it can even be in the beginning of shchita. Amar Reb Nachman by Yitzchak. Reb Nachman by Yitzchak says, how do I know this that you can even have Pirkus in the beginning of shchita? Did not, because it says in our Mishnah. Reb Shimon says Shichet b'layla, if someone slaughters an idol machar, and the next morning matzah ksalim mileim dam, he finds that the walls in the base of shchita, the walls in the room where you shechted, are filled with blood. So he says it's kosher. Why? Because now you see that it was zinka, that it coughed and splurted blood all over the place, and that constitutes enough of a pirkus to make sure that this misukenes is kosher. Uchmidas Rav Elazar is going according to the opinion of Rav Elazar that all you need is zinka. The Amar Shmuel and Shmuel says, what do we mean? Kaisli beis ashchita shaninu. We are referring to that the walls of the actual room that you shechted in, the base ashchita, the place where you shechted, has blood on the walls, and say you're able to see that it's splurted. Asks the Gemara, if you're telling me, if really the halacha is that at the beginning of shchita it's enough to have a pirkus only at the beginning and not afterwards, then shaper, then I can understand it. But if you need it at the end of shchita, so then what is your proof from the fact that you find blood on the walls on the next morning that it was mizanik? Maybe it did the zinka in the beginning, and you said the beginning is not good, right? We need to be sure that it did the zinka at the end of shchita. Right? So from the fact that we say it's good, must be, even if the zinka, even if it splurted blood right at the beginning of shchita, still it's considered enough, it's considered good, and it's called pirkus. So you see from here that you need, that all you require is a pirkus at the beginning of shchita. It says the adif, maybe no. Maybe the only time we say that a pirkus at the beginning of shchita is fine is by zinuk, is when it coughs, it splurts blood, because that splurting the blood is a higher level. The adif, it's better. It's a higher level of pirkus, and therefore we accept that as enough of pirkus, even though it's at the beginning of shchita. So the Gemara, mi adif, is it better? Is zinuk really considered a higher level of pirkus? Vatnan Rabbi Elazar daya im zinka. Rabbi Elazar, when he says his shita of zinka, he says daya. No, it's enough. That means he's going down a notch from the Tanakama. Tanakama says you have to be mefarkis biyad uva regel, both the arm and hand, the hand and leg. And Rabbi Elazar is saying, no, you don't need it. It's enough if zinka. So you see, it's kal. You see, it's lower. You see that it's lower than he's being more lenient. Says more kalmi de Rabban Gamliel. He's being more lenient than the first shita of our Mishnah, Rabban Gamliel. We have Rashbag, but some changes to Rabban Gamliel. You see that means Rabban Gamliel. But the other Rabbanon. But he is better than the Rabbanon, and therefore, in this situation, we see that he's better. That his shita of zinka is better. Maybe only in that situation is tchila okay, but still in other situations, meaning the last shita, if you just have the regel moving, then you need even b'sayif shchita. Amar Ravina, and says Ravina, Amar li Sama bar Chilkoi. Sama, the son of Chilkai, told me, Akshiba, Avua de bar Abuvram, the father of bar Abuvram, asked the following question. Some say the brother, Achua de bar Abuvram, asked the following question. Umi de Rabbanon mi adif. Could it be that he's better than the Rabbanon? You want to put him in the middle and say that his zinka is a pirkus that's considered stronger and better than the Rabbanon's shita of just the arm. Vatnan v'chachamim oimrim. It says in our mission, the chachamim say, Ad tefarkes oy biyad b'rega. All you need it is for to be mefarkes either in the hand or the leg. Rabbanon al-Hoy asks this bar Abuvram, on what are the Rabbanan referring to? Who are they talking to? If they're going on Rabban Gamliel's shita, the Rabban Gamliel said you need both the arm and leg, and they're saying just the arm and just either the arm or the leg. So kevan shepirkas amibayile. It shouldn't say ad shepirkas. So until you're mefarkas, it should be no. As long kevan is saying like once it was mefarkas, either in the ad or the regel, it should be fine. Why are they saying ad? Ad means you're adding. Elop shidal Rabbi Elazar must be they're adding on Rabbi Elazar. The odif, and if zinuk is better, so then they're not adding anything. My ad. What does it mean ad? So must be you see from the fact that Chachamim are saying ad shetafarkas biyadu or oy biyad oy beregel, must be zinuk is a lower level, and therefore Chachamim are going up a notch. So you see from here that zinuk is the lowest level, and if zinuk is the lowest level, and we see that that you can come the next morning and find the walls of the Beis HaShchita covered in blood, it's enough. You see that all we need is to have zinuk or pirkus in the beginning of Shchita. Continues the Gemara. Rava Amar pirkus she'amru b'soif Shchita. The pirkus that was said must be b'soif Shchita. Amar Rava says Rava mina aminu. How do I know the Tanya? Because it says in the Brisa shor oy kesef. This pasuk is referring to an animal that you bring as a carbon. Shor oy kesef oy eiz ki yivoleid. When it's born, has to be 7 days with its mother. From the 8th day, and on it can be pleasing lekorbani shel Hashem, meaning as a carbon. You must wait to the 8th day in order to bring an animal as a carbon. So we learn from this pasuk shor oy chesev prat kilayim. It cannot be kilayim. It can't be an animal that was born from a sheep and a goat, because they're two separate species. That's called kilayim, and then that type of species cannot be brought as a carbon. Oy eiz. The next words in the pasuk oy eiz are teaching me prat lenidme. You cannot bring a carbon. It has to look like an eiz. It has to look like what it is, like its mother. But if it looks like a different animal, if a sheep gives birth to an animal that looks like a goat, that is considered pasal. Ki yivoled, that is born. The next words in the pasuk, that is prat liyotzei. That is going to be excluding if the animal is ripped out of the womb and doesn't come out the natural way, meaning like a C-section. Shivas yomim. The next words of Shivas yomim is teaching us pratam chutzer zman, that if it's missing time, meaning time has to pass, you need to wait 7 days before the before the animal can be brought as a carbon. Tachas imay. The next words, tachas imay. Tachas imay. It has to be under its mother. What are those words? Tachas imay, with its mother, coming to teach us? Pratli yasain. That is coming to teach me that to exclude an animal that's an orphan, that the mother's dead, right? Says the Gemara, ha yasam echidami. What's the case of an animal that's a yasam? If you're saying the case is that the mother gave birth to it, and then it died, and that's what the Brisa is teaching us, that it's puzzle. Says the Gemara, it always has to live. Why do we care if the mother's alive when you bring the animal? Ella, says the Gemara, the mesa v'hada yuliditihu. The Elamai, you're saying, you'll say that the pshat is that it died, and after the mother died, that's when the animal was born. After the death of the mother, the animal was born. Says the Gemara, you learned that already from Michi Yivaled. That's already, we learned from the fact that Yotzei Daifen is possible. We learned that's also why, because if the mother dies first, and then it gives birth, how do you get the animal out? Must be because it's Yotzei Daifen, it's like a C-section. So if so, we know that already from Ki Yivaled. So Ela Pshita must be, says the Gemara, the situation is Zeh Pirush L'Mitzvah v'Zeh Pirush L'Chaim, meaning the mother dies at childbirth. While giving birth to the kid, the mother dies, and that's called a yasam. That's called an orphan. Now says Rava I Amart Bishlomo. If you say the following, it's fine. That be'inin chiyusa b'seif leida, that you need the animal to be alive until the end of the birth. Then it makes sense. That's why I need a specific pasuk to teach me that the mother has to be alive until the end of the birth. But if you tell me you don't need the mother to be alive until the end, all you need to be, let's say, alive till the middle. Right, so then lamali michi yivalid. Lamali, then what do we need the pasuk? Michi yivalid nafka. Meaning the fact that a C-section animal is possible to bring a korban teaches you that the mother has to be alive until the very end, until the middle of shchita for sure, until the middle of the birth, because if the mother dies in the middle of the birth, it's still considered Yotzei Daifen. You still have to cut it out, and that's called Yotzei Daifen. So must be. What the next pasuk is telling me, that you learn out that the mother has to be alive, is telling me that it has to be alive until the very end of the birth. Even when you wouldn't have to necessarily rip out the animal. And still it's possible because the mother died. So, Oibazoi, you see from here that when we require life, when we require to see a life force in a birthing mother, you need it at the end. So too in our situation, when you need life, the life of the animal, to the throes of death, to show us that there was life in this animal, is needed also at the end of the shchita process. Amarava. Hilchasa ki homasizim. The halacha is like the following brisa. Behemadaka, if you have a behemadaka shepashta yada leichzira, that outstretched his arm and did not bring it back. Psula, like we said in our Mishnah, b'amedrum amurim. When is this true? Biyad, only in the hand. Aval beregel, but if it regarding the pirkus of the foot, bein pashta v'lei kafafa, whether it outstretched and didn't rebend it, bein kafafa or just bend it v'lei pashta, ksheir it's kash. B'amedrum amurim b'daka. This is all discussed by a thin animal, v'al begasa. In a big strong animal like an ox, baby yad baby regel, whether discussing the arm or leg, bein pashta v'lei kafifa, whether it just outstretched it without bending it, bein kafifa or bent it v'lei pashta, ksheira. The oif and in a bird, afilu loy rifrif ela gapa, even if it just moved its wing, v'lei kiskes ela znavoi, and it didn't shake. And all it did was shake its tail. Harizim because it's fine. By a bird, you need even less. Says the Gemara, what is this chiddush of the brisa? Tananihu, we have it already in the Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, if you have a thin animal that extended its arm and didn't bring it back, psula, it's possible, because it's only the dying of the animal, it's not really coming from your shchita. Says the Gemara, everything we learned from the previous brayso, so we have here, yad, it says yad in reguloid, specifically the arm, not the foot. Daka in gasaloid, specifically a thin animal, not a thick animal, not a big animal. Says the Gemara, no, oif it's tricheli, you still need this brayso, and that's why Rabbi was saying, I'll select this brayso regarding oif. The Mishnah never talked about oif, and the loitnan. It doesn't say that in the Mishnah, and therefore we need to teach us that oif needs a very minimal spasm in order to render it kosher, even though it's misukenes. Continues the Mishnah, if a Jew slaughters for a non-Jew who is an idolater, you're slaughtering it for him, it says an animal, it's kosher. Rabbi Elazar says it's paisal. Amar Rabbi Elazar, it says Rabbi Elazar, even if you just slaughtered it to feed the non-Jew, a small portion of the animal, still it's possible. Chatzar kaved is a part of the liver, either it's in between the liver and the lung, or it's some finger-like structure attached to the liver. Either way, even if you want to feed him this small little thing, which was eaten for medical purposes, still it's considered pasul. Because the default intention of a non-Jew idolater is for idolatry. And therefore, you have to be concerned that he might have had intention that this is an animal that is designated towards idolatry and is prohibited even in any type of hana for sure ba'achila. Omar Rabbi Yosi says Rabbi Yosi kal v'chomer advarim. He's going to dispute this. He says it should be kal v'chomer. If even in a place where intention, where kavana really does make a difference, what you were thinking. B'mukdashim, meaning by kachim, it makes a difference what you're having in mind. There's an issue of pigul, there's an issue of korban lishma. You have to have the correct intention to eat it at the right time, to eat it in the right place, and it makes a difference. Eina kol hoylech, still over there. Eina kol hoylech el achar ha'ovid. It only depends on the actual person who's doing the work of the korban, the actual sheichet, the actual zayrik. We don't care about the bailim, we don't care about the owners, what the owner thinks. So makom she'ein machshav b'selas, in a place where machshava doesn't really make a difference, i.e. by us, when there's no issue of pigul, usually by chulin, there's no issue of intention, of what the person's having in mind. Ein din, is it not for sure logical, that it also depends on who's the actual one who's slaughtering it. And we shouldn't care whatsoever what the non-Jew owner is thinking. We don't care about the owner, we only care about the actual sheichet. So Rabbi argues and says that it's not going to make a difference if the owner of the animal happens to be an idolater, as long as the one who slaughters it is not an idolater. Says the Gemara, Hani Tano Yislu the Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yosi. The first two opinions in our Mishnah, they hold like the opinion of Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yosi. That's the Tanya. He says, Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yosi, Shamati Shabayim Mefaglim. I heard that the owners can be mefaglim. Meaning Rabbi Yosi was saying that the owners cannot be mefaglim by kachim, only the actual oivet. The Tanakama and Rabbi Elazar, who argue on Rabbi Yosi, they actually hold that no, the Bailam can be mefaglim. They hold like Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yosi. Mihu, however, what is the dispute? Tanakama savar isham inu dechashiv in. Tanakama says we have to hear him, even though we hold bailam ar mefaga. We actually have to hear the owner having the machshavas pigul. Machshavas pigul is when you have an intention to eat the korban either after the proper time or out of the right place. And usually we assume only the oivid can have the machshavas pigul to make the animal, to make the korban disqualified. But now Rabbi Elazar B'Tzadik Shita is that even the bailim, even the owner, if they have intention to eat it outside of the right place or outside of the right time, it becomes aser. However, Tanakama hold that even though the bailim can be mefagel, it's only if we actually hear them. Sham'inu dechashiv. We hear and we know that he actually had an intention for this avodah zarah, or for the pigul. Eloi, if we don't hear, then we don't care. But because stam avodas kechov, ovid kechov, avodas kechovim, lo yamrinu. We don't say that the default intention of an idolater is that every animal he has is going to be for idolatry. No, we actually have to hear him profess his intention. Rabbi Elazar says no. Even though we didn't actually hear him that he had intention for avodah zara, star machshavas ovid kechovim is lavodas kechovim. The default of his intention is always for idolatry. The Asa Rabbi Yosi, and then comes Rabbi Yosi to say the Afal Gav Deshaminu Dechashav. Even if we did hear the owner actually say that he's having intention for idolatry, Zeh Mechashav Zeh Ovid Lo Yaminu. We don't say that that one person can have the intention for the other person who's being worshiping. It has to come together. You can't have the evil intentions of one work for the avoid of someone else. Says the Gemara, some say no, the machloikis between the Tanakama and Rabbi Elazar is even if we actually do hear them say. We actually do hear the owner say that he wants the animal to be slaughtered for idolatry. But still, Tanakama Savar, when do we say that Bailam are mifaglim, that the owner, even though the owner is not the one who's doing the worship, his intention does count and can disqualify the animal, even though someone else is doing the worship? That's that's only by kachim, that's only inside of al-bachutz, by chulin, something that's outside the Beis Hamikdash, loy. That we do not say. Because chutz miplin lo yalfinan. Just because inside by kachim we have a rule that bailam are mifagel, doesn't mean by chulin it works too. You can't learn from there. The also Rabbi Eliezer Lemeimar, Rabbi Eliezer comes and tells us that Yalfinan Chutz Mipnim. No, we do learn Chutz Mipnim. There's no difference between Kachim and Chulin as long as it has something to do with intention that disqualifies a korban. So then Bailam can be Mifagel. Zem Mechashav is also Rabbi Yossi Lemeimar, and then Rabbi Yossi comes and says that Afilu Bifnim, even inside Nami Zem Mechashav is Zayiv Lamin, and he holds Bailam are not Mifagel inside either. Ad Kan Chulin Daf Lamed Ches.